Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Klaus and very nice to meet you. So today I'm going to be answering some questions about Queen Mary. I asked on my Instagram to send through some questions if you're curious about any topic, and I did get some good questions, so let's answer them in this video. I'm also on my way out to go to lunch with a friend, so I thought I would film and do my makeup at the same time because number one, it saves time and it's efficient, and number two, I actually really like talking while I do my makeup, and sometimes it might be a little bit awkward doing a Q&A and just sitting down on camera. So yeah, let's get into these questions. Okay, so the first question we got is, do you think Queen Mary is underrated, and if so, why? That is quite a good question, and I'll tell you what, I do think Queen Mary is a bit underrated. I think Queen Mary gets the rep of like not being that great of a school. Like, people don't really associate it with top highest ranked universities in London or top highest universities in the UK because it doesn't rank that high, and compared to like other schools like LSE, UCL, King's, Imperial, we do definitely rank significantly lower and get like lower rep. But to be frank, I've met people who went to UCL, I've met people who went to LSE, I've met people who went to King's, and I met people who went to Queen Mary, and the intelligence level doesn't really differ, to be honest. I think it's more of like, I think people who ended up at Queen Mary were probably just not as studious, but still just as bright, because I've met people who have so much potential at Queen Mary and they did really great things, and a lot of them are in really good jobs or did really good masters. We are definitely underrated for our social life. Like, I feel like, genuinely, I feel like Queen Mary has one of the best social lives in the whole of like London universities. I know people who did their undergrad at Queen Mary and then did their masters at UCL or did their masters at King's or did their master, like I did my masters at LBS, and honestly had a way better time at Queen Mary. So yes, it is underrated. My second question is, do you think the whole university experience was worth it? Yes, 110%, even though it was expensive, especially because I had to not flee, that was so dramatic. Especially because I had to leave my own country to come here as a foreign and study abroad student. It was definitely very expensive. The tuition was the same, but like living costs and all of that, very expensive. But 110% worth it, and I would do it all again if I could. The next question is, coolest international study abroad student you've ever crossed paths with? The person who asked this question is the answer to this question. Next one, which is better to hang out, Curve or Ground Cafe? I never hung out in the Ground Cafe. I think I would go there like sometimes to get food, like mainly in first semester, but wait, which one's the Curve? Basically, the best place to hang out was low-key the library. We would always hang out in the bottom floor of the library, and it was a vibe. I never ever hung out in the grounds. And the Curve, is the Curve the place above the ground? Because if that is, then I like that place as well. Oh wait, is the ground the place where, like the canteen place, is that the ground near the accommodation? I am literally forgetting where everything is. Next question. Do we have to pay anything when we are finished with the whole fee payments, like hidden charges? I don't think so, but only if you have like late payment fees, but I don't think so. I didn't have any hidden charges. Yeah. What kind of student should consider going to QM? Example, if you want to live in central London. Yeah, I mean, if you do want to live in central London, you should probably go to QM. There's a lot of different options as well, but other things I think you should consider if you want to study in QM is, do you want a vibrant social life? Because you're gonna get one at QM, like for sure you're gonna get one, because unless you like don't try, then yeah, maybe you won't. Also, because it's COVID, never mind, you might not have the social life. Something else you should consider if you want to go to QM is if you kind of don't mind being a little bit further away from like central. Like, it's not even that far. It takes me 20 minutes on the tube to get to like Oxford Circus, but like it's a little bit like you can't just walk everywhere. You can't walk your way to Soho. So yes, I would say take that into consideration as well if you want to study at QM. But apart from that, I would say the things you need to think about, consider when applying to QM, are the things you need to consider for every other university. Like, what's the ranking like? What is the experience like? What is the teaching like? Or how good is my course here? So yeah, I would consider those things as well. The next question is, best majors to study in QM, in your opinion? Looking forward to your video, by the way. Yay! So my video is coming out soon, And in terms of the best course to study at QM, if we look at rankings, it's probably medicine, maybe dentistry, and law. I think those three, I am assuming, are probably the best ones to study at QM. I know medicine in particular is ranked very, very well. One of the best med schools in the UK. So definitely medicine. If you're like got all the options in the world, I would say like medicine's a good one to study here. And it's also really well ranked for law. Like, it's really, really well ranked. So law and medicine are the two things I would consider. The next question we have is, how did you find the career services? You naughty, huh? I talked about this in my other video and you... So yeah, in short, not great. Basically, it just really was not helpful. But let me caveat by saying that I went to Queen Mary 2 years ago, so things might have changed. And was it 2 years ago? Oh my god, it's gonna be 3 years this year. I went to the career center when I was in year 2, and back then it was really bad. But who knows, it's been a few years, so they might have improved. So yeah, let's give them the benefit of the doubts and just say I'm not sure. Best society in Queen Mary. Okay, so firstly, for the biased answers, I would say there are two best societies in Queen Mary. The first one being Abacus. For if you don't know Abacus, it stands for Association of British and Chinese University Students. To this day, I'd still say that Abacus is one of the things that made my university experience as good as it was. And basically, if you're wondering what it is a social society for Asian people. It's literally what it is. It's a society full of like Asians. And we go clubbing, we go get food together, we have like sports events together. When I say Asian society, it doesn't mean like only Asians are allowed. Of course other people are allowed, but predominantly we do things related to Asian culture, like getting drunk in green tea and whiskey. And sorry, by the way, when I say Asian, I do mean East Asian. East and maybe Southeast Asian, but mainly East Asian. I'm not talking about South Asians. So it's mainly like Chinese people, Taiwanese, Koreans, Japanese. And like, I would say 90% actually is like Chinese people. But like Chinese Hong Kong or people who were born here. So it's not like Chinese people from China. So yeah, just clarifying that because I feel like that's important to clarify. The other society that I would say is the best society in campus is definitely Queen Mary Dance Company. And just to prove you guys, these are the PJs that I slept in last night. So yeah, I stand by what I say when I say Queen Mary Dance Company is the other best society at Queen Mary. QMDC, QMDC, QMDC. And of course I gotta show off the badge of honor. But yeah, I would say if I made like 70% or 80% of my friends at Abacus, the other 20% or 30% came from Queen Mary Dance Company. So obviously it's pretty self-explanatory. It was a dance society. We were a competitive dance society and we would go on competitions, and oh my god, honestly, best times of my life. Those competitions, as stressful as they were some of the best times of my life. For no reason, actually. It was just emotional. And it was so fun, like cheering for other teams, cheering for your team, obviously. I danced through all 3 years of university. So again, super involved in this society. If you guys really want to build like a bond with people, I would really suggest you joining a competitive sports society. If there's anything you're good at, or hey, even if you might not even know if you're good at it, so like try out for different societies. I know my friend, one of my best friends, Jade, she had never done cheerleading in her life before, and then she joined cheerleading. She is amazing at it right now, and she really found a family in that society, and that's how she made a lot of her friends. So don't just be like, oh, I'm not good at anything, I'm not gonna join. Just try out, see what happens. Because also before I joined QMDC, I wasn't a hip-hop dancer. I had done a couple of hip-hop classes before, but I had never ever done hip-hop competitively, like ever. So yeah, just try out and see what works, because it's really worth it in the end. And the like little bit of embarrassment you feel when you try out is really not that much compared to the amount of fun you could have if you got in. So I'll definitely suggest everyone to do that. With that being said, if I had to give an unbiased answer, I would also say that ACS is a really cool society at QM. If you guys don't know what it means, it stands for African and Caribbean Society, and they had a bunch of events and they were really big as well. They had a lot of people, and I went to a couple of their events because they invited us to come dance with them, which was really nice. I would definitely recommend you joining, especially if you're part of that community. So yes, ACS was also a very big society in campus that I would say was one of the best societies at Queen Mary. Next question is, why is the ranking so low? I don't know. I'm not the ranking committee. In terms of academics and professors, we oftentimes had the same teachers as other better ranked universities, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's to do with like employability rates, but again, employability rates are not that low. Good question, I'm not sure. Next question, related to this question actually, is how employable are students graduating from Queen Mary? I know this is really unhelpful, but the answer is actually it depends. Because I have some friends at Queen Mary who found jobs straight away. I have some friends at Queen Mary who found jobs like years later. And it does come down to the individual. I honestly think that how employable you are after graduating from Queen Mary is very course agnostic. So it doesn't matter what course you're from, whether you study psychology or, you know, economics. If you put effort into looking for a job from day one, then I think your chances of finding a good job are higher, even if you study something that's not related to that field. This is the final look. I'll put some lip gloss later before I leave the house. But yeah, as I was saying, if you're someone who puts effort into looking for jobs since day one, you have significant internship experience, you have a good CV, and you have good cover letters, and you've made important connections, then you won't have a problem. But I think people who aren't able to find jobs after graduating are, first of all, people who didn't prepare themselves before graduating. I think that's really important. You have to prepare. And secondly, people who just don't know what they're doing, and that's fine. Like, you don't need to get a job straight after graduating. You have time, you're young, you're in your early 20s. There's no rush really, so I wouldn't rush it, and I wouldn't say it's a problem. But if you want to get a job early, just prepare in advance, but don't feel pressured to do so, because you can wait. When you graduate, you don't need to find a job straight away. You can literally just take your time, look for a job that you genuinely like. So I wouldn't say it's a problem, but if you do think it's something that you want to prioritize, then my only advice here is to prepare early. Anyways, that will be it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I now need to go for lunch with my friend, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye bye.